Today I'm making a quilt I have never done before, and I am a little bit scared, not gonna lie. This is one of those that looks absolutely scary and expert level, but when you start making it, it's actually quite simple. Why shouldn't we challenge ourselves with something we've never tried before? Something we wanted to do but never quite had the courage to go ahead and just do it? Now's the time, let's go! Today we're making a trip around the world quilt. Guys, I am pulling all the stops here to make this as easy and as beginner level as I possibly can. So I'm using pre-cuts, but not just any pre-cuts, my favorite color pre-cuts. Solids, which is a first for me, I know, but look at this, how stunning. These strips are actually 47 by 2.5 inches. They're quite big, and I am taking 20 of them. And let's just make a sequence that works for us, okay? I cannot get enough of these fabrics, guys. They are amazing. Lately, I've been discovering so many new patterns. Even though I've been quilting for over a decade, I realized I had been doing the exact same thing or a couple of exact same things over and over again. I wasn't learning anymore. I was just improving on those small couple of things that I was doing. And that's why I get so incredibly excited every time I learn something new. These are my 20 fabrics. We can do whatever sequence we like. For me personally, I do not have the courage to mess up a rainbow sequence, okay? And have I mentioned we are doing a surf song Bargello quilt along on Patreon right now using this beautiful designer jelly roll that I am using today? We are having so much fun, and if you want to join us, there's still time, so go check it out. But back to the trip around the world, there's actually a very important difference between the two. The Bargello strips have different lengths because you want that flowy feel, like it's moving. Here, you're going to have squares when you're done, simple squares all in the exact same size. And in a way, I'm hoping that actually helps us understand these kinds of patterns better because we're not dealing with different sizes, so it's much easier this way. A lot of you have commented over the videos that I always get so excited, and I really do hope that my excitement is contagious, okay? I do this because I really want you to get as excited as I am with, trying new things, learning new patterns, buying new fabric. I mean, how awesome is it to buy new fabric? And for me, there's always something so unique and so magical about trying new things and learning new things. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, learning, it does good for the soul. And that's exactly what I want to share with you. We have 20 strips, right? So I'm sewing them into a group of 10 each, so 2 different groups. And then I'll show you why we're doing it and how it just makes our lives so much easier. As I sew, as I make new patterns, as I evolve as a quilter, for me it's becoming clearer and clearer that the fabrics really do make the projects. Sometimes you can have the simplest project, but with the right fabrics, it becomes something else. And for this project in particular, we have seen trip around the world quilts forever, right? But when you do it with these colors, for me personally, it just turns into something else. And there are a lot of ways we can sort our fabrics for this particular pattern. For the way I'm doing it, I am making it as a wash. You know how much I love my color washes. But if you'd like, you could have made like one color per layer, and that would have worked beautifully as well. We have 2 blocks here, guys. Which team are you? Are you team cold or are you team warm? I know which team I am. It's the purples. The purples always do it for me. So let's go ahead and cut these 2 colorful blocks in half. We're not very worried about the length of the strips, so they don't need to match exactly, but we are looking for a 20 by 20 inch-ish square. We want 4 of them. My 4 squares are done, but we're not. Now we start to have fun. First step is closing these 4 into tubes, and we do that by folding them in half and sewing the top edges. Next, we're cutting our squares into strips. Now we want to make these 2.5 just like the original strips because we want squares. Things to consider before cutting, and this is possibly the trickiest step of them all. We need flat seams. We need straight lines for our strips, meaning we want this to be as straight as we possibly can, and you can even pin the strips to make sure of that. And finally, we need to trim the start to make sure all our strips are nice and sharp. And now we cut 2.5 inch strips. Let's go. How easy has this been? Pretty simple, right? We love to learn, but we want it to be simple. We don't want to be anxious and stressed. On that note, I have a confession to make. This week's video almost didn't get made. I am finally learning how to sew my own clothes. This has been a dream of mine for as long as I can remember, and I finally found the perfect community to do it on. It's Skillshare, and they are the sponsor of this video. If you've never heard of Skillshare before, you will want to hear this. Skillshare is the largest online community for creatives like us, with thousands of classes in so many categories like painting, cooking, photography. And it's not just hobbies either. It can help you take your career, your skills, passions, or side hustles to the next level. You can learn how to write books, how to speak a new language, how to meditate. There's a whole world of possibilities to explore. And these classes, guys, are just so easy to follow. And I'm doing it on my own schedule, and it has been incredibly fun. Hence, the not having any more time for anything else, because I am spending all my free time on Skillshare now. Because after I have learned how to make my own clothes, I am learning to grow my own vegetables, guys. How cool is this? Guys, Skillshare really does have it all. And summer is right around the corner, and these classes are absolutely perfect for the holidays. If there's something you've been meaning to learn but could never find the time or the right place to learn it, Skillshare is it, and the time is right now. For the first 500 people to click on the link I am leaving in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. But I'm warning you, it's addictive. So you can get started today. I could be here all day talking about it, but there is a little trip around the world we need to take, so let's get back to it. Much like the Bargello quilt, there's a sequence to this, except this sequence is much simpler because we're doing it one corner at a time. So let's go ahead and find our first square, the color we started with when we were sewing our strips, remember? This is number 1. Let's rip our seam here. And this is what you get. Absolutely lovely. Now let's get the second strip. Now we're ripping the seam between number 1 and number 2. Look at that. Next, we open the seam between number 2 and number 3, and you see where we're going, right? We just keep going for all our strips. So gorgeous. Oh! And this is one corner. Let's make the others real quick. And guys, can you see how simple this is? Even simpler than the Bargello, right? Needless to say, you can make these as large as you want, with larger or smaller strips, of course, but also with more or less strips. So we're just making one diamond today, but if we made smaller ones and joined them all together, that would look absolutely stunning. I'll probably do that in a later video, actually. And if you keep going, and instead of 20 by 20 squares, we did 40 by 40 or even bigger, you can make a whole quilt with just one diamond. You know what? Maybe I'll try to make a pattern with several small ones next. How does that sound? To me, it sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, we will be doing a lot of rainbows in the future. Oh, awesome. Guys, we have cut our strips and I have shown you a little peek of what this lovely quilt can do. But this isn't it. Trust me, we are just getting started into creating something that will blow your mind. Wanna bet? Let me show you what I mean. This is a big one. I think it's the biggest one I've made with you in a while. And I'm actually sewing and thinking of where I can show you this beauty all together. But I think we'll find something. Back to my sewing clothes obsession. It's not an obsession yet because I'm still learning, but I'm almost finished. How awesome is this? I cannot wait to wear my own clothes, the clothes I make myself with my own hands. How satisfying must that be? If you do it, or if you know any good channels I can follow and, learn a few tricks, please leave me a comment below. I want to know all there is to it, guys. Thank you. You know how much I love to chain piece, right? I think it's just much quicker that way, and my machine tends to behave better, let's put it this way, when I do it in bulk. As we start to sew these pieces together, we can already foresee how gorgeous and how big this will be. I cannot wait to see them complete, and I cannot wait to show you. Don't forget to press your seams, okay? We want to keep the strips nice and flat all the way. It just makes everything look neater and straighter. And you know me, I need all the neatness I can get. But hey, what I like in precision, I more than make up in enthusiasm. You know what? I should make a t-shirt. This is definitely my favorite thing yet. Now that our four corners are nicely sewn and beautiful on their own, it's time to put them all together. You know how much I like to play puzzles, so it's puzzle time. You may have noticed that we don't exactly have 4 squares, we have 4 rectangles. And this is because I just could not bring myself to remove 2 of the strips, okay? I love this fabric. I just think, yeah, I could add it to scraps, but I just couldn't. We have 8 by 10 squares instead of 8 by 8, but I think it's gorgeous nonetheless. And look at this, guys. Making quilt puzzles never ceases to surprise me. There are always more patterns available than the ones we have in mind. And yeah, this part is always a lot of fun. I'm back, I have my favorite, and I'm ready to call it a day. Let's sew. And that's it, guys. Our trip around the world quilt is complete, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.